Hi guys! So it's been about a month and a half since I did my introductory 2016 planner lineup, and I thought it would be a good time to show you how things are going and what's changed and what hasn't changed. So first I'll show you what's pretty much the same, and then I'll show you what's different. So first of all, I'm using my Hobonichi Weeks as my personal planner, and that hasn't changed. I think when I did the last video, I was using the light brown Core travel wallet as a cover. Since then, I got some birthday money, and so this happened. This is the dark brown version, and I like both of them, and I'm just like kind of switching in and out. But for the moment, I'm using the dark brown one, and I'm really happy with that. Everything else is the same. The only thing that's changed is that I switched to a pencil. So before I was using a friction pen, and then I decided to switch to pencils so that I could avoid the plastic refill cartridges. And I really like that. But the problem is that at the same time, my friction highlighters ran out, and so I switched to these really cool eco highlighters that are basically colored pencils, but in highlighter colors. As you can see here, they're like neon colored. And they don't work with pencils. So if you highlight with them over pencil, the whole thing just turns into like a terrible blur. So what I'm doing for now, and I'm not sure whether I'll keep it like this or not, is I've started just using pencil. So it's totally monochrome, there's no color. And I'm not sure how I feel about that, because that's Tails in the background. If you can hear, James has just taken Panda out, and he's going to come back and take Tails out, and Tails is feeling very aggrieved. So sorry about that. Hopefully it will stop in a minute. Anyway, I really like the color. I like using the highlighters to cross off what I've done. But I was kind of feeling like it was adding an extra burden. For one thing, it was an extra thing to carry in my bag, and my bag is already too full as it is. And for another thing, I felt like I couldn't easily cross things off because I had to get out the bag of highlighters, and I couldn't just cross them off with the pen, which is in the planner. So it's actually kind of a relief just to be able to cross things off and not have to worry about waiting until I can get out the bag of highlighters. But on the other hand, I missed the color, so I'll see what I do about this. I'm not sure. This is a work in progress. But other than that, everything is still pretty much the same. I'll do an update on this specifically in a little while, but I'm still using it in the same way. So that's my personal planner. Then the next planner that's the same is my Hobonichi Cousin, which is my work planner. And there are only two differences here. One is that I have got another mechanical pencil. So I've got two mechanical pencils. I got this one first. This is a Waterman. And then I got this one. This is a Parker. And I like the Parker better because it is heavier and a bit thicker. It kind of feels more substantial in your hand. And I thought that this one worked better for the Weeks because it's smaller and more petite, and this one worked better for the Cousin. So it's just like nice and chunky. I really like it. And the other difference is that I switched from the sack, the navy blue sack cover, which I was using for a few months, to this. And I did a review of this when I first got it. So I'm really, really happy with this, although I'm kind of torn because I love the sack. But as I've mentioned before, the navy blue sack just is a terrible dust magnet. So I've really been enjoying the fact that this one doesn't get covered in dirt. And that's my work planner. So that's the same as well. Then the next thing that's the same is my Gratitude and Vision book. It's still a Hobonichi A6 Avec with the light blue sack cover, and I just did a walkthrough of this, so there's nothing new here. And I believe this is the end of the planners that are exactly the same as they were last time. So now we move on to the beginning of what's different. So there are a few additions and a couple of alterations. So the first addition is this. This is a Fodori that is modeled very, very closely on the original Midori, but it's faux leather. And I really liked it, but I couldn't figure out what to use it for. And then we decided to use it as a like kind of family harmony planner, meaning that if James and I felt like we were getting into an argument, that we would get this out and write down some nice things about each other. So this is good because it's very low pressure, as in it's not something that we have to do every day, which I feel like would kind of get onerous and we would just stop using it. It's only like something that we need to use as and when. And it's actually worked really well. Just like the mention of the family harmony planner is kind of enough to stop the argument. So this is working really well. And this goes into the lineup, even though it's not like a planner that I use all the time. Then the next one is this one. This is the Love Doki personal size faux leather planner. And this has turned into a kind of single purpose notebook, but it's got a few different inserts in it. So what happened is I first got this Zinidori unicorn, which is in the standard Midori size. And I was actually using this for a while as a list book, and it replaced the disc-bound Levenger notebook that I was using, which was in the last planner lineup video. This one. So I was using this for all kinds of different lists. So like shopping lists, films to watch, meals we like, planners that I have and use, planners that don't have a use at the moment, just all kinds of random lists. And when I started using the Happy Planner, which I'll get to in a minute, I kind of felt like I wanted to branch out and not have so many disc-bound notebooks, just because I didn't have a traveler's notebook in the mix. And so I started using the Zinidori unicorn in the same way that we were using this, because I thought that a traveler's notebook kind of worked in a similar way, as it's not as customizable, as in you can't tear out pages and move them around as you can with a disc-bound notebook, but it's got different inserts. So I started using this as different kinds of things. This was for miscellaneous notes. This was for that kind of household stuff. So I had like a list of meals that we like, things that we want to do in the flat, stuff like that. And then I started one that was a zero waste insert. So for lists of like places where we can buy things in bulk and which shops have which things, because they don't all have the same stuff. So there's like one that has pasta and another one that has raisins and stuff like that, and various things like that. And then another one that had TV and film. And then it somehow just started feeling a bit messy. It was kind of like too many different random things, and somehow just it wasn't working. So what we decided to do, because we really, really liked the idea of having somewhere where we could keep track of films that we want to watch, either in the cinema or at home, and TV shows that we want to watch. Partly because James is really into the cinema, and so he likes the idea. He was always mentioning, like, I want to see this film and I want to see this film, and it was useful to write it down. So when I got this, I decided just to make it into a Cinephile. That's what it's called. So like Cinephile. So this is just for cinema and TV. So it's got different inserts in it. And that's really nice, because before we just had one insert, and I had to like kind of balance, you know, like how many pages will I leave for films to see in the cinema? How many pages will I leave for TV shows? So this way, we don't have to do that. Each insert is a different topic. So this is films to watch at home, and we've got a whole insert to fill, so this will last forever. Then we've got films to watch in the cinema, and I just tick them off. So I just leave a space at the left here and tick them off when we've seen it. And then we've got TV shows that we want to watch, and then this one is blank, just in case we need it for something else. So it's not necessary to have this, but we really liked it, because sometimes, you know, you think you want to see something and then you forget about it. And what happens to us a lot is that something is on in the cinema and we want to see it, and then we don't have time, or, you know, the cinema is expensive, so we end up not going, and then we put it off and we put it off, and then finally it comes out on Blinkbox. So then we're like, all right, we can watch it at home now. And because we've got the list, we remember that we wanted to see it. So obviously it's not essential. If we didn't have this, we would, you know, still remember some things, and other things we wouldn't remember, and it wouldn't matter. But it's just nice to have it, because sometimes, especially lately, we've been having a kind of stressful time with Panda being really sick and in hospital, and so we've just been watching more TV kind of to distract ourselves, and it's just nice to have something to go to and see, like, what can we watch. So this is working really well, and it's nice having it just be kind of single purpose, because it feels very neat and tidy, and it doesn't feel messy like the list book started to feel, and the Midori. So it's kind of sad, because I was really enjoying having a use for this. But at the moment, I'm just using it for random notes, just like kind of scrap paper. So I wouldn't even consider it an actual use. I'm only using one of the inserts, and it's just for things like experimenting with the fountain pen, which I've just got recently, and, you know, making lists that I could get rid of instantly that I have no intention of wanting to keep or consult again. So this was actually something that appeared in between the last video and this video, and is now no longer in use, although I'm still trying to work out what to do with it because I love it. So yeah, this is a new addition. And then, as you've seen already, this one is one that has been taken out of the rotation. So it's actually only been partially replaced. The only thing that's been replaced is the TV and films, which have gone into this one, and the rest of this hasn't been copied over. I copied some of it over into this, but now both of these are kind of out of the picture, and I think it's okay not having lists of those things, actually, at least for now. It just kind of felt like it was getting a bit complicated, and I think despite having so many different planners, I'm happy with this system. I know it changes, so in another few weeks I'll do another update and I'll be like, yeah, I didn't like the Cinephile, it was messy, I had to get rid of it. So I don't know if this will last forever, but as it is, this feels nice and neat and compact, and I'm happy with it. So the other things that have changed are, first of all, this was a planner that I never expected not to want to use. This is our home planner. So this is used for things that affect both me and James or the whole household. So it's like where I'm going to be, where James is going to be, joint appointments, things that are kind of like if someone is coming to the house, if we're having a visitor, or if there's a package that's going to be delivered, stuff that we both have to know about. And this is also the one that I decorate. So I only use stickers on it, and I put down writable stickers with the information, and then afterwards I go back and decorate it. And the reason that I'm not using this right now is maybe going to sound really crazy, but I think that you'll understand. So what happened is that I usually put the stickers in on Friday nights and Saturday nights because I've got some more free time then. And so you can see I was decorating it up until here, and then I put this in. So what happened is that this is the day when we had to take Panda to the emergency vet. He has a heart condition, and he had a crisis, and it was awful. And then he was in hospital for about 5 days, and then he came home, and he was at home for a few days, and then we had to take him back to hospital again the following Friday. And I was decorating this planner like both times right before we had to take him in, and it somehow has just developed this really bad association, so that it was just upsetting me to look at it because it reminded me of what happened. So it's like, I know that there's no connection logically, but it just made me not want to use it. And so it's almost kind of become a bit of a jinx. And I'm hoping that will wear off, because I really love this planner and I love decorating it. But just the whole decorating the planner and using this planner at all have kind of just become something that I don't want to do right now. And that isn't something that I ever thought would happen. And I'm kind of hoping that it will wear off. But for now, I've just been avoiding it. And so what I've done instead is sort of incorporated these uses, what we're using this for, which was basically just a joint scheduler and like some joint tasks into here, the Happy Planner, which I was using as a food tracker. So, or James and I were using this as a food tracker. So we're still using it as a food tracker. And this is like awesome Ollie clip that I got from my friend Shauna, the Sassy Pineapple. Thank you so much. I love it. And so on the monthly spread, I'm putting in an attempt at meal planning, which we're really, really bad at. And then on the weekly spread, we both write in what we did actually eat. Sorry, this is a bit out of frame. The planners are taking over. And the last couple of weeks haven't done a good job of filling in because of the Panda situation. But this is this week. So yeah, so we're using it for that. And then I'm using the monthly spread here on the left, the notes section, I'm using as a like running shopping list. And then what I just started doing recently is putting in our joint appointments in here, because we don't actually have that many joint appointments or to-dos. So it works fine to put them on the monthly spread, and then we can just see at a glance, like I'm out for a while on Thursday, Tails is going to stay with the dog sitter, stuff like that. And so we're actually sort of using this more as a like kind of complete home planner, which is actually what we had before. In the summer, we were using a Filofax Domino. And obviously, because it's a ring planner, it had different sections, we could put all kinds of things in it. So we had appointments, and then we had like recipes and lists and all kinds of stuff. And then when I moved out of that into a spiral planner and then into a bookbound planner, you couldn't really do that because you didn't have the space for the extra stuff. But now we can kind of become more flexible because this is disc bound. And what I want to do is, when my Disc Agenda Diva finally comes from Doki Book, and I'm still waiting for it, and it's awful because it's been like 3 weeks, and I've been in touch with Doki Books, and they said that there haven't been any tracking updates. They said that if I haven't heard anything by the weekend, that they'll send me a new one. So I can't wait for that to come, because I have big plans for that, and I'm going to transfer all of this over into that and use that as our home planner. So that's what I'm thinking at the moment. So yes, the current lineup consists of the following: the Happy Planner, which is like a meal tracker, meal planner, and home planner; the Cinephile, which is the Doki Book personal size. This, I don't actually know what this is called. It's made by a company called MG from China, but it's a Midori look-alike. This is the Family Harmony Planner. This is my gratitude journal. It's not really a journal because I just make lists in it. I don't actually write full sentences, so I don't know if I can technically get away with calling it a journal, but that's how I think of it. And then last but not least, we have my 2 actual planners. These are my 2 main planners, my personal planner and my work planner. So that is my current lineup. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 planners in this at the moment, which is interestingly the number that I had before when I did the January setup. So the number hasn't changed, just the constituents have shifted a bit. And then there's also a 7th one. Technically, there's the Jewish calendar, which I mentioned before, that I'm not actually using as a planner. I'm just using it to consult the dates to see when the Jewish holidays are. So I kind of counted that as a half one last time, and you could say the same thing for it this time. It's kind of in the lineup, but it's really more of a reference book. I don't actually write anything in it. So if you're going to use that criterion, then it's not really in the lineup, but it sort of is an honorary member. So I hope you enjoyed this update. I will be back again soon with another video, and as always, thank you so much for watching. Bye!